Okay, let's take a look at drawing circles in perspective. Really, it's the same sort of thing. There's just a couple of tricks to make this work. So if I want to put, you know, a tire on here or something, and these are my perspective points, how do I get this circle the right size so that it looks correct? Well, I'm just going to go and do the same sort of thing. So I'm going to go grab my hard brush here and make sure it is nice and small for some perspective lines. Got a layer for perspective lines, and I'm going to go and lay down some lines from my perspective points, and I'm just kind of using my rough drawing here as my starting point. Probably let's just take it from there to there somewhere to start with. So that's my center line. So from there back to here. Okay. So I want to be able to get this wheel in here somewhere and get this set up. So I'm just going to go and just get rid of this, some extra lines here so it doesn't start looking too confusing for you. So we need to determine the size of it here, the depth of it, and that's a little bit of a guess right now. There are some things you can do to do that. So let's just right now we're going to say it's about here. So that means we've got some more perspective lines that go off. Okay, and we're going to give it some thickness. So we're going to have one that's going to go this thick. Okay, and it's going to give us those points there, and that gives us that straight up and down here. So essentially our wheel needs to fit into this spot here. This is where it needs to go, is in here. And so to make that look like it's correct, we're going to do a nice little cheat here. I'll just get rid of that layer, and I'm just going to go, I could throw another layer in. It actually doesn't matter because I'm going to be using the this tool here. If you click and hold, it's going to be the ellipse tool under U, okay? So the ellipse tool will allow me to be able to create shapes. Now I can say shape, which if I create a shape, it's going to fill it in. I don't want that. I want line work. So up at the top, I'm going to turn off the fill, and I'm going to turn on this one here and make it red. So it's going to be giving me a line work and maybe a little bit bigger, thicker line. Yeah, maybe that'll work. It might be a little thin, but not too bad. So I'm going to create a circle, and I'm going to do that. If you hold down Shift, it'll create a circle for you and fix it to a perfect circle. Now, it's a shape layer, and we could leave it at that, but you're going to want to use your transform tools and not lose your transform tool when you sort of copy it and stuff. And the way to do that is you right-click on your layer, and in the layer say convert to smart object. This is an important step here. So convert to smart object. Once it's a smart object, what this means is once I've got a this transform tool, Control T on it, I can then deform this into place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take each of the corners, holding down Control, and I'm just going to deform the corners into the corners where I need the circle to be. And with that in place, I can hit Enter, and you can see I've got a perfect circle there. Now I want to copy that because I need the circle in the back as well. I'm just going to go take this top layer and just turn the opacity way down. So I'm going to Alt drag this layer and make a copy of it down below because it's going to go behind it. And watch what happens when I go Control T now. You'll actually note that the transform tool stayed the same shape. If you don't make it a smart object, it'll come back in as a square around it, and you can't go to this next step. So with that being said, holding down Control, I'm going to snap the corners to the back corner of it and hit Enter again, and you can see now I'm starting to get where this circle is going to sit. Okay, so I can define this this circle here nicely, that the wheel, the shape of the wheel, and everything. If I want to put one in the center, okay, I'm going to go take this front one and just Alt drag it up. I said Alt drag it up. There we go. So it's going to go in front. I want to draw where the hub's going to be. Control T again. And this time I'm going to hold down Alt while I do this. And what it'll do is it'll scale it to the center. So I don't even have to know where the center is. I can just scale it down. So I can say, well, that's the, where the frame of the wheel is going to be or something, let's say. So that's where the front edge of it's going to be. And again, I could alt drag it up, Control T, give myself a hub center if I need some more reference, where things are going to be. And, if this is going to be a spoked wheel, I'd probably want to be able to see the inside piece, and that would be this one. And it's going to just simply get moved back behind the other one. So it might actually be better if I did grab this one here, the bottom one, and then did the same thing with it. Take it down to the same sort of size, make sure it's tapering. I could also take lines off the top edge back to my vanishing points, know that I'm doing it the right size. I'm just kind of guessing to keep things moving forward. So there's the reference for my tire, and that should be probably enough to do. I'm going to grab all those layers and just merge the visible ones down. And that's going to become my reference now for my drawing, okay? And again, I want you drawing them. Don't use the line tool. I'm going to turn those ones off. I'm going to stick a layer, above all this, or yeah, I'll do it below actually. I kind of like the line tools to stay up above. And put my color wheel back on. Bring my pen tool back into being pressure sensitive. And then I can start drawing this. And so I could sort of determine if it's going to be this curved sort of, wheel. I've seen people doing these wagon wheels type thing. I can start working out the shape and form of this. Using this as reference, and it'll get me the idea of what's going on. Now these lines probably shouldn't be there eventually, but I like putting them in when I try and draw a wheel. It gives me an idea of the form. And back to my brush. And it may actually be better to orbit my canvas so I can use my natural curve of my hand to be able to hit my curves. And again, that's the R key for rotate your canvas. And of course, we can then use the R shift to snap it into place. To snap it back to the correct angles again. And just hold down E for my eraser so I can let it go and bring the brush back right away. And then we're probably going to want this line here again too. So, and I think I want that a little more defined. Now you could also use the smoothing brush and get rid of all this scratchy stuff. I'll tend to sometimes do circles this way and just do a little bit of erasing on them, just so they don't look too messy. And there you go. That should be a wheel in perspective, set up for you. So that's the way you do it. You figure out where the sort of base. You could do it standing up. If it's going to be going off to a third vanishing point up. However you want to do it, you start with a circle, put it into the shape, and then start from there, and you can start drawing your wheels and whatnot in perspective.